this big. Yes, and this. So Spencer's house is up for sale.
Yeah, building.
Where's it going? Where do you live?
He's got a piece of land.
My brother, Social Security. He didn't. That's what it was. It's a G. Well, I don't know before the girl and just hit that and got a little. Said he got some water. That's what I did. I had to log on, and he doesn't have, he has his phone and a tablet, no, he does. And so I had to. Door into it. We got there, it's like crazy, and then we had to talk about this. Password for.
Get a password manager. You can have a speech at the end to make it toward you.
Maybe. If you could, please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Notice of this meeting was given in advance thereof by publishing one time in the Keith County News and posting at the City Administration Building as shown by the certificate of posting notice. Notice of this meeting was simultaneously given to the president and all members of the council. Availability of the agenda was communicated in the advance notice and in the notice to the president and council of this meeting. All proceedings hereafter will be taken while this convened meeting is open to the attendance of the public. This meeting is being convened in accordance with the Open Meetings Act. Copy of the Open Meetings Act is posted in the southeast corner of the council chambers. Any person wishing to address the council may do so by standing. When you are recognized, please go to the podium. Please sign the sign-in sheet located on the podium and state your name and the organization, interest, or person you represent before you begin speaking. Thank you. Roll call.
Dupierre.
Here.
Bachman.
Here.
Kraske.
Here.
Laughlin.
Here.
Weddington.
Here. Under our consent agenda, we have the minutes of the special meeting held June 9th, 2026 at 2 p.m. We have the minutes of the regular meeting held June 9th, 2026. And we have our claims.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilman Dupierre and a second by Councilman Weddington. Or excuse me, Councilman Clockman to approve the consent agenda. There's no discussion, please vote.
Five yes.
Motion carried. We have no public hearings this evening. Under public forum, we have Karen Boland, 5 years of service. Karen? I'm gonna just go rant. So. Karen Boland, 5 years of service. Karen is a great employee and a true team player. We appreciate all of her help in keeping the library a true meeting place for all of our community members and for her wealth of information and being a great reader's advisor. We thank her for her years of service and hope we have many more to celebrate with her. Thanks, Karen. Thank you. Right, moving on, under Public Forum People Service, Inc., our regular update. Mike Adair.
Good evening, council. How are we all doing?
Doing well.
Everybody got a copy of the report. Do we have any questions on that before I focus on a few things?
I guess the only question I guess, first question was is the Trojan communication issues on the UV system maintenance. I guess, has that been resolved, and is that conflict? How's that impacting us now? I mean, what's our long-term, I guess, plans to, I guess, get it resolved?
The communication you're referring to is part of our SCADA system, communicating with the SCADA system. There was some upgrades that need to be done to the hardware to meet our technology today to what that technology was, I believe what you're referring to. It has no impact on the operations or our treatment or anything. That is just so it can communicate with the SCADA.
Were you asking about the UV system?
Yes.
The UV system?
Yes.
That's okay.
And that's up and running now?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Last time you were here.
Mhm. Yeah, this is about the SCADA system. This is the hardware for the SCADA system, computers. So, yeah, it's all been running and we're well below limits and doing well on that part. Remember that. Any more questions?
Not for now, well, get you going to your normal spiel and then I may have one.
Okay, all right. We'll start with the wastewater plant first. Still obviously struggling with our bacteria growth, as it's always slower than anticipated because of this contamination that we are getting. The last round of samples led us to which we're going to do 10 rounds of samples next, because now we have identified local areas that we're going to do that we're going to target certain areas of town where this could be coming from. So we're going to be taking 10 this week, and it takes a week to get the results back, and then we'll focus on that to determine what those results are. Each one of those is $360. So, you know, this whole thing has kind of been costing the city quite a bit of money. So if anybody is doing this and you're watching and you're hearing or you know, whatever, let's pay attention to what we're putting down the sewer.
My hip shoots $40,000 to $50,000.
If you put in labor, time, your time, our time, city inspector time, you know, because we spend time going looking at facilities and working on some type of pre-treatment plan, working on communicating. Yeah, it's getting up there.
Yeah, sewer liquor.
And now we're gonna start adding $3,000 to $4,000 a pop to taking samples, because we're taking 10 at a time now.
Are we getting it narrowed down?
We are.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, we have it narrowed down to I'll call them industrials only at this point. So because obviously we started with an area, and then we're gonna sample specific areas and then sample after those specific areas, because the ones afterwards should come back clean, and then we know that it's between this particular part. And then we have to do investigations. This city inspector will get involved. We will be going knocking on doors, asking to see what they have and have them answer certain questions.
We will be visiting a pre-treatment ordinance sometime probably in September.
By the time we get it all put together.
The other thing, Michael, you may want to note that we have findings on both sides of the river. It's not
Yes.
it's not just the south side with that.
100%. The phenol is about equal coming from both sides, which is solvent. So that's parts cleaning, painting, anything like that. Diesel is more strong coming from across the river, but we also have it coming from this side too. So we got to narrow down to some pretty specific spots. After our next round, we will be able to actually identify facilities.
So could you venture a guess to when you would have, you know, the specific contaminant identified or location, like weeks, months?
So hopefully in 2 weeks, we will have on this side of the tracks, hopefully in 2 weeks, we will have it down to a block, 2 blocks. And then those facilities on those blocks. And then across. It all depends on how it comes back this time before we go to that side. It just depends on how those come back.
We'll probably have it narrowed down to 4 manholes on this side.
Yes, and then 2 manholes on the other side.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're getting close, but once again, it's just a lot of work.
Yeah.
The SCADA system is being installed right now. That is going seamless. Jeremy's overseeing that whole project, and today was the first day. And it's going seamless, so it seems to be working well, and hopefully that whole transition will not cause interruption to service to anybody. So,
Council will be visiting a change order on the next meeting. That kind of enhances what we're doing and making sure that we get the SCADA system running as efficiently and as intended.
Yes, when you're talking computers, I don't know how many of you guys know this, but obviously you buy something yesterday, it's outdated tomorrow. So there are some things that we ran into that didn't communicate back and forth, and a change order had to be put in to make that correct. Is that a good statement? Yeah. Yeah, so. I really don't have anything else. If you guys have any questions or anything, we're, still just working at the plant, trying to make sure that we get that all up and going. We are making progress. It's just slower than I like it to be because of the contaminants that keep coming in.
I appreciate the updates and the team putting in the steps for the corrective action, but we eventually get this addressed. Thank you very much.
We are not out of compliance because of this, are we?
Yes,
We are, okay,
yes. We are in a consent order.
all right.
That protects us. Yeah. So, because we're in the consent order, because of the past history of the plant and the increase that we have to do. Because of the government money that was supposed to be coming, and because of that's been picked up and everything else, it's kind of, we have a lot more leeway than you would if we didn't have that consent order. Because we're already out of compliance, we're trying to get back in compliance. And because the treatment filters aren't working correctly, we have some other work out there to still get done. It's obvious that we will not be back into 100% compliance until all of that is fixed, which we are waiting for this money that was promised to us, and then that didn't happen. Then it got reduced, and so. But we are, because of the consent order, I'm going to use the word protected, because that's all I can really think of to say. But because of the consent order, we have a lot more leeway. Our operators have been integrally involved with our engineers on prioritizing the $7.5 million to make sure that we get as strong a fix as possible. And we're in conversations with the state inspector weekly, even if we are in compliance, because we do balance in and out of compliance on CBOD and TSS. Ammonia, we're always out of compliance. That's why you're in the consent order in the first place, was because for 5 or 6 years you're out of compliance. So we are checking all the boxes to keep everybody happy at this time.
Okay.
Anything else?
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you all so much.
So do we have any ability to go back once you identify this person, this company, and recoup some of the money that we've spent?
I think that's the intent of the pre-treatment ordinance that we're gonna pass, so that, because right now I don't believe we really have any.
And the importance of a pre-treatment plan is that every industry in town, they identify what they do, what they have, and then we decide what limits that they can put into our system so that we can still operate and stay in compliance. If they're out of compliance, they pay fines to you. So, it's the whole point, if that's where your teeth is.
The state of Nebraska does. If the state of Nebraska gets involved, they will, but without an ordinance. And Mike has sent me a copy of a pre-treatment plan ordinance. It's not like other ordinances where it's like 3 pages, it's
It's in depth.
pretty in depth.
So to understand with our current code then, if we identify this contaminator, we would have no recourse for reimbursement.
Under the current ordinances. We'd have to rely on state law.
Okay.
Cause you have, cause there's those.
Well, I'm sure if we find out who it is, we'll probably be looking into that.
If they don't.
Well, I would
stop
think you want
up tomorrow.
I would think you want to take every avenue that you possibly could, if there are any, yes. Yes, but by putting it into place, we protect it for the future, because I do believe that this has been going on for a lot of years. And that is why the plant has been so volatile for the last 10, 15 years, and you've been in and out of compliance so much, because your biological action or your bugs are so weak because they're fighting so much to stay alive, that you get 1 inch of rain, you get any kind of change, it just throws it out of whack. Very unstable, if you will. And I believe that that's because of this has been going on, because we're not getting spikes, we're getting continuous results, which tells me it's a continuous feed of something.
Keep looking.
We're gonna keep at it, that's for sure. Thank you guys so much. I did not take your sign-in fee.
Good job.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
All right, is there anyone here that would like to address the council on something that is not on the agenda under public forum? Okay. Not, we'll move on, report city clerk treasurer,
Have nothing.
nothing from Jane. Moving on, recommendations, departments, boards and committees. Under administration, we have creating chapter 115 entitled Mobile Food Vendors, ordinance 1450. This is something that personally I feel we need a little more discussion on, and I'd like to maybe schedule a public hearing for our next council meeting to discuss this. So unless some council member wants to introduce the ordinance, I'd suggest, maybe we just table this. I think there may be some people here wanting to discuss this, and if there are, please step forward.
I agree with you though, Steve, on that. I know there are some concerns that I have on this, talking to some people. Probably some changes, just some tweaks that we need to look at, and also provide enough time for people to have a lot of input on both sides of the table. Citizen comment on that too. I don't think it hurts. I don't think we're in a time crunch on this. And really, one of the things I'd be looking at is, even if we did look at this, I'd probably push for, an effective date out of season to give people time to learn about, especially if we have transient food trucks that are coming to the area from, out of state or even from distance. Putting it in season's gonna be awfully hard on.
Yeah.
So it'll allow us to get a ramp up time to let people know, whatever's decided when we do decide to tackle this. What that expectation is, of what date that goes into effect.
We probably need to have some copies of this ordinance, at the clerk's office too, so people coming in, if they want to take a look at it, get your comments to Kevin. And
I was gonna ask, can we really discuss it, because it's,
I think we can, it is on the agenda.
my first question I would ask is, what issues are we currently experiencing with mobile food vendors? To me, this should have always been a discussion item before we start putting together an ordinance. And so that would be my question to the council is, what issues are we currently experiencing? So we know the best way to approach this.
This was the council had interest in 3 years ago. We touched on 3 years ago. I looked at several ordinances from around the state. We started down the path with Beatrice. Beatrice is a little more involved. We got some renewed interest that was driven by the brick and mortar restaurant owners as to leveling the playing field for food service operators within the city of Ogallala. I went back and looked at Waterloo, Nebraska, is based upon what is in Waterloo.
I appreciate that info. Is there other issues?
I don't know that we've had any issues, any health issues or problems like that. And I've discussed this with Councilman Dupierre a little bit, and my personal opinion, not the council's, but my personal opinion is I don't necessarily see the city's role as leveling the playing field for the public sector. I mean, it should be competition. I think our role is to deal with the safety of the service, and if there's safety issues. For us, I think would be things like knowing who the vendors are, so if someone did get sick, we would know who to reach out to. And I'm not too concerned with the vendors we have in town, the familiar faces, but at times during fair or rendezvous, you know, there are people from way out of county coming in that I don't know that we.
And the ordinance, it looks at the, Councilman Kraske, it looks and making sure that they do have certain certifications, that there are some health code considerations taken in place. We have had issues with mobile food vendors who have obstructed right of way or have had windows that were out into the traffic. That we've had to ask them to move or relocate, or locating in areas on public property where they don't have permission to be. So the ordinance that you have kind of just spells out some of those expectations. I don't think it's meant to be egregious or intentional. It's not targeted. That's the reason I kind of switched up and went with the Waterloo, emulating Waterloo, because it seemed a lot more clear.
Did I hear correctly that Councilman Laughlin and Councilman Dupierre would like to work with City Manager Wilkins on this?
Yes. Yes.
Sometimes it's good to be king.
You know,
Yep.
I will digress on the rest of my thoughts for now. I don't see how they fit for the remainder of this, but I see that there's some food vendors here. I'm curious if any of them would like to comment. I would love to, you're here, would love to get your opinion and feedback if you want to.
If you're more than welcome to get up, give us your comments now. We'll have some copies of the ordinance available for you tomorrow. If you want to get a copy, but we'll have it on as. Tell you what, Jane will make copies now and have them waiting, and more than welcome to comment now, but we will have a public hearing scheduled for the next council meeting, so yeah, please.
And as Austin and I dig through this as people are coming up, you know, what we'll look at is the template itself, make suggestions, recommendations based on findings, based on conversations throughout the committee or community, utilizing this as a template and then going back and making adjustments until we have a final product. We'll bring before the council and then it'll be up for review again by the community itself. So
Yeah, I don't think we're in any rush
no.
for this.
Hi, my name's Travis Byers. I'm the owner of AK Adventure Drinks and Food. We are always caffeinated. I like to think we're fairly liked around here. And we travel all around Western Nebraska, thousands and thousands of miles each year. So we go to different towns. We don't stick to, you know, just here, just even local. So I just thought I could kind of come and point out some things that I've seen in the ordinance that was shared with me. That I just see, you know, first off, I would like to preface by saying that I am not opposed to an ordinance for food trucks. In the towns that I go to, there are very few that have them. I think in Western Nebraska from North Platte this way, Sutherland, Binkelman, Bridgeport, and Grant kind of, all have food truck ordinances. Most of the rest of the towns kind of let you, you know, essentially do what you want. As a food truck owner, I mean, I think most of us want to put on, as a business owner in general, we want to put on, you know, the best show that we can for people to make sure that they're willing to come back again. That being said, just in the notes, for the food truck ordinances, some things that I could see that could pose issues for things such as fair or rendezvous or things like in those nature, would be the restrooms within 50 feet of your location. A lot of those won't have restrooms within that distance. They are in the event space, but they may not be within 50 feet of your actual food truck being there. Another thing I could see is the having to be with your vehicle at all times. During fairs, rendezvous, festivals, a lot of times we'll set up for 3, 4, 5 days at a time. And obviously it's not feasible to pay someone to be with that vehicle 24 hours a day during those times. Obviously you're not open, you're locked up, you're closed, just like any brick and mortar would be. All your equipment's off, you know, that kind of stuff, but you're not able to stay 24 hours a day. And on that same note, the 7 to 10 restriction, I think is probably very fair for most occasions and on a day-to-day operation of a food truck. But again, for fairs and festivals, which I'm very fond of here, you know, a lot of times those go past 10 o'clock and you're out serving food, or drinks or whatever needs to be served for those. That is, I think, most of my concern with all that, is mostly with fairs and festivals. I think most of us set up within that distance of restrooms and we have our trash taken care of, and I don't think that's an issue. I will say, you put this into effect and I think you won't see a decline from any of the good food vendors that show up. Like I said, I'm not opposed to an ordinance. I would just like maybe see that stuff visited, as you guys said, you're gonna visit that stuff. And then if anyone has any questions for me, I'm happy to answer any questions we have.
Mr. Byers sit on a couple of the items that we've already been looking at, so that's really good. As part of the initial process, and again, like the city manager indicated, this was a form that came from another city, but we've already identified the issues with the bathroom, the distance and those kind of things, operational time frame.
Yep.
And then also what you talked about being with your truck, basically this says 24 hours a day. And those things are all unreasonable. You kind of highlighted those items for discussion. So that's great that members of the food truck industry are looking at that and seeing those kind of things too. And that's kind of what we've been doing. So that's good.
And Austin, do you mind if I bring up something we have spoken about too? You know, another thing that you haven't brought up too that we're also looking at is also trash receptacle provided by the food truck. You know, if you're by a sponsored business and they have trash, there should be no reason, in my personal opinion, to have a trash container there if it's already being provided. So, you know, you're at the watering hole, they sponsor you to be there, they have trash receptacles, moot point. Same thing, second chapter, if they have trash receptacles and they're open, moot point. So I think there's gonna be very, very little kind of things that come up to where that even be needed. So you're at rendezvous, there's trash receptacles. So the need to haul a trash can around with you everywhere you go, that's one of the things we looked at.
And I mean, I think honestly, most of the food trucks take one with them anywhere. A lot of the places we go are somewhat remote. And so we have them for our customers. I mean, mine's a tiny one because that's all it really takes. People show up, they leave, they don't usually throw away stuff unless they're at a festival or someplace here.
But there are occasions where they'll take a napkin and they'll throw it away right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Or
I
there's
think
straw
that's
wrappers.
that's the intent there, is napkins and wrappers where
Yeah,
people are not gonna
Very
walk across the parking lot to throw it away.
Yeah.
And then also timing, you know, making sure that we're cognizant there are businesses that operate, you know, for breakfast shifts, especially, you know, coffee businesses too. You might want to do earlier. Then we just have to take in consideration how close that is to residential, when there's a generator fired up, things like that. But a lot of this stuff, it's like I said, is very much a template that Autumn and I had kind of jumped in and asked to kind of start looking over this and start this process, so.
And I think that the hours of operation are to coincide with noise ordinances.
Yep, and I was gonna say, I would think that the generator noise would be covered under noise ordinance anyway. So it's just kind of a double dip, so it's not like it essentially would affect anybody.
You know, I talked to us a little bit about this morning, and where a vendor would have tables or awnings or set out for people to stay there or eat to, you know, that may be trash cans or trash receptacles may be more important in those type of venues, where you're doing, you know, a grab and go, or you're just pull up, grab your coffee, grab a donut, pretzel, whatever, no place to sit. You know, we don't need a trash can, so.
And I mean, I get that this is to essentially make sure everybody's following the same rules and that like that place isn't left a mess when you leave. I would hope that most of us that show up do that anyway, but I do understand that there's some of them that don't, so. And some things you just overlook sometimes, so.
Thank you.
So, Mr. President, if I'm hearing that correctly, you want us to schedule a hearing on this for 7/14.
Yeah.
Maybe just updates, because that'll give Austin and I time to sit down, have some conversations, scratch some stuff out. And then, I know just from conversation, we'd probably like to, you know, visit with, you know, affected members within the community too. And then kind of bring back something from that, let everybody kind of speak to it. Kind of do a first revision, just give everybody a chance to look at it again. And then go from there, possibly with scheduling after an ordinance review.
And that's been some of my approach or perspective on this has been. First, I wanted to know what the issues are that we're experiencing, because from what I have seen, we have not experienced a whole lot of issues. And to have a 4-page ordinance for an issue that we don't have seems like we're complicating the process. Understand there's a point on this that we need to be prepared for issues. There's just things like the operational restriction of 7 to 10. You know, I understand now that we're looking at this mainly driven by brick and mortar to level the playing field. We don't limit their operating hours. If it's a generator or noise issue, that's covered under our noise issue. You know, the trash can issue, I see where that makes sense in some areas, but traditionally speaking, they are a grab and a go business model. Again, we have an ordinance that covers that. It's called littering. And so that's just been a little bit of my approach on this is, and definitely to what Travis said with the festivals and the fairs, some of these rules are impossible.
Well, and I don't think our intent is to come up with the ordinance that we have to regularly enforce. I think the intent of the ordinance is to give it to the food vendors and say, here's what you need to do. Here's how you should operate.
That sets the standards.
Sets a standard for it. So I think we had.
Stacy Bauer, part owner of Front Street. I guess I'm referred to as a brick and mortar person. First of all, it's not the level playing field. Everybody's entitled to their business and how they conduct it and everything else. But there are rules and there are laws that have to be followed in the food industry. And I can't say that there's any violations per se. I don't monitor it, and everybody does a great job. The food is good. I mean, a lot of people participate in it and everybody's entitled to that. Things like the restrooms, that's a law. It's not a recommendation. The 50 feet thing is not part of that law. I believe it's a little vague. It's like 200 to 300 feet. And generally, there's a paper or a note from the establishment where they're parked at that would give them permission to access the restrooms. And so that's, that's how it's kind of conducted. So from my perspective, again, it's not a matter of leveling the playing field. It's a matter of knowing who everybody is and having them recorded somewhere and basically being a participant in the food vendor industry for Ogallala. So like I said, everybody's entitled to their own business, how they run it and everything, as long as they meet the rules, and it's no big issue to me as a brick and mortar owner. We had competition for a reason. And so that's what I would have to say about it. Any questions from me?
Any questions for Stacy, Allison? If not, thank you, Stacy.
Stacy, can I get you to sign the sign-in sheet there?
Anyone else have any comments you'd like to make?
I just real quick say, one thing I see in here is a mistake, is it says Keene County Health Department. Should be state of Nebraska. Would be Department of Ag.
Okay, we'll make note of that. Thank you. Friends. All right, if not, we'll take no action on this. And then move on to our planning and zoning nuisance abatement, declared nuisance. We have 2026 OGA 15 PID 069000800 1001 East First Street. It's resolution 2348. And we have 2026 OGA 19 PID 066004500 East I Street, resolution 2349.
Okay, so from that, good evening, Edward Dunn, EDWARDDUNN, Executive Director for West Central Nebraska Development District. We'll take this as in order, beginning with the two you just stated, Mr. President, with the declared nuisances. 2026 OGA 15 and 2026 OGA 19. I will note for the upcoming agenda item, when we get to that, I'll have an announcement to make prior to moving forward with the actual presentation.
Okay.
Mission, vision, values, who we serve, how many funds we've raised since we've been in service. Again, here's the map for everyone to see the area of review. 144 properties reviewed, 31 courtesy letters sent, 14 properties have voluntarily cleared. And these numbers have changed as of this evening. So 2 properties to declare, 5 that are ready for motion to abate, and then 4 properties to rescind. And again, the list was just updated this morning, therefore the PowerPoint is not, I'll skip through the ones we're not addressing.
Okay.
First property was given a courtesy letter as well as an administrative extension from our office, 2026 OGA 15. First photo, as always, is an identifier photo. Unlicensed vehicle, another unlicensed vehicle, discarded lumber, another unlicensed vehicle, and or improperly licensed vehicle. They're interchangeable. Improperly licensed vehicle. Improperly licensed vehicle. The vehicle does have vehicles on it for sale. Currently they are under the 8. So a private property can sell up to 8 vehicles per year. Unfortunately, we don't have a way to track that. So I could go to the assessors and ask that, but it could have been sold under a different pseudonym, so on and so forth. But currently there, I just wanted to show you, they do have some vehicles for sale, but they're under that 8 threshold as of the date of review. And these are all these vehicles out front.
Is that on the right of way or just up to the right of way there?
There's a better picture off the highway. I'll show you.
Okay,
Additional discarded lumber there, and I think we'll get to it here, but this is an unlicensed vehicle, unlicensed trailer. Or improperly licensed trailer, improperly licensed vehicle. Improperly licensed vehicle, so it is behind the right of way. I would assume that the sidewalk is, we're not going on there in the right of way, so. This is taken from the public right of way from the street. The pictures are, but it's behind the sidewalk and behind the light post, so I would assume that it is, those vehicles are behind the right of way. And all of those vehicles you see there are for sale, along with the box van, and then there's a trailer that I'll have right there that is also for sale. Unfortunately, motor vehicle statute and law does not include a trailer as one of the 8 vehicles that you can sell. The trailer is not properly licensed anyway, so it doesn't count. Not properly licensed vehicle, improperly licensed vehicle. Can't even see the sticker, therefore it's super illegal. Improperly licensed vehicles. This has a yellow tag, but it is the wrong plate. And it's 2017, the last time we had yellow stickers.
So question on these, so what's the difference between unlicensed and for sale? What differentiates the two?
So according to Nebraska motor vehicle law, from what I can find, and this might be something for Mr. McQuillan to dive deeper into. I'm not an attorney. I don't represent an attorney. I don't have a legal opinion. I'm just going based on my unlegal opinion that they, according to motor vehicle law, they can have up to 8 vehicles for sale. It does not say anything in there that those vehicles have to be licensed at the time of sale.
There's no time frame that could be for sale. They could be.
Not in motor vehicle law.
and they don't have to be operable.
The tires are aired up
Yeah.
and they look operable. I mean, that's really the definition of it. Are the flat tires? Is it missing the front end? Is it missing a windshield? If those things were evident, then yeah, we could consider them inoperable. But based on the presentation of them, they look operable.
I mean, a lot of the properties that we've looked at, they've had unlicensed vehicles. I'd say well more than half.
Yeah, the strong majority this year has been a lot of unlicensed.
So. I'm somewhat hesitant to bring this up, but I'm gonna anyway. What if they just put a for sale sign on that vehicle?
They have every legal right to do so.
And then they can pull the plates off and just leave it there.
It's something I think we need to address later in an ordinance change and a
I think
statute.
that's an ordinance.
Something you're not uncommon in this. We're seeing more and more of this in all of our communities. And I would say in the last 18 months, it's become extremely more prevalent for whatever reason. That people are hoarding vehicles and just not licensing them and keeping them on their properties. There are a couple of communities that I will provide Mr. Wilkins with that I think have done a really good job of addressing that as far as how many vehicles can be on the lot. Let's say two vehicles per lot that are unlicensed and or for sale. So there are ways to address it. Unfortunately, it'll be an ordinance.
And there's zone can't operate a car dealership out of a residence. Those kind of things, so there's those issues as well. But in this situation where I assume that's a
It is.
commercial zone, then different rules apply.
And the date that I checked the record and salvage license list as well as the authorized dealer list from the motor vehicle is 6/17. So that's as of that date, this property and or the property owner were not listed as having a record or salvage license and or a dealer's license. There's 2 different licenses. 2026 OGA 19. We have an inoperable boat trailer. Missing some wheels. And it's up on cinder blocks. Also improperly licensed or unlicensed. And that's the end of the declaration.
Any questions from the council? Comments?
It's not uncommon to find changes that need to happen to your nuisance ordinance, so don't feel like you're caught off guard here. Nuisance ordinance is one thing we refer to as a living and breathing document. It needs to stay that way, so it's flexible to be changed according to the community and what they're seeing in the community and so on and so forth. It's a health and safety issue. I mean, you get that many vehicles on there, you're obviously inviting rodents and things like that to approach, and they find safety and shelter underneath those vehicles and so on and so forth, so, yeah.
I would introduce resolutions 2348 through 2349 and move for their adoption.
Resolution of declared nuisance. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second or introduction by Councilman Laughlin and second by Councilman Clockman. There was no further discussion. Could the council please vote?
Five yes.
Resolutions 2348 and 2349 are hereby adopted.
And I'll refresh everyone's memory here before we move on to the motion to abates. The declaration is not the end all be all. So they'll get another certified letter, an additional approximately 30 days to rectify those nuisances that have been identified that need to be corrected. Come back to you for where we're at with this next step in your agenda, motion to abate. They get another approximately 30 days plus a 5-day notice after that. So the declaration is not the end all be all. They still have time as part of the due process. Okay, before we move on to motion to abate, upon receiving our mail this morning, we did have 5 letters that were returned unclaimed for motion to abate. So what we did is at the last meeting, you declared these properties a nuisance. At our review, we determined that they have made no progress, no attempt, etc., so on and so forth. They're being brought back to you this evening for motion to abate. That's the next step in the process. This morning, upon collecting the mail, 5 of those certified letters were unclaimed. Now, it's a little different than a courtesy letter. If a courtesy letter goes unclaimed, we're not set in stone. If a declared letter, notice of declared nuisance goes unclaimed, we are legally required to post the property and publish it in the newspaper. So those 5 properties now have an additional extension because it was unclaimed. So those properties were posted. In fact, one property's owner has already called us because we put a stake in the right of way with the letter on it. The declared letter is what gets posted. And because they need notice of how to come in. So if one of them comes in and requests a show cause hearing, well, if they didn't pick up their certified letter, they don't know how to do that. So we have to give them that notice. So therefore, and I think, Council President, you had
I think
corrected list here that
I think it's the property you're talking about are OGA 5, OGA 14, OGA 18, OGA 22, and OGA 23.
will all be no action taken on those properties this evening.
And on your agenda item, that's 3, 5, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the realization as to why they weren't, why it wasn't corrected is within the 24-hour time period of your agenda. So
Good information. Nice job, Ed. Okay.
Next time, to keep those from being unclaimed, do we not go ahead and post them in paper when we do the initial notification? And then also stake property, wouldn't that create, additional contact from the citizen back to your office?
can I recap what I think I'm hearing from you? So you're saying send the mail certified
Mhm.
and post a property regardless on the same day?
Yeah.
We can. It's gonna create additional staff time, printing, post, et cetera, to come back and pick up. So, I mean, that's increased cost for the city.
Well, but we're talking, what, 5? So, and we're talking a stake and a post in the paper, which we already have to do. So a few more lines.
$100 per
What
property.
would the cost have been? I mean,
$100 a property,
So
so
we,
$500.
okay,
But
That's not how we operate, in any other community. So I would have some serious reservations about creating something just for Oakdale.
what you're saying, I think, is we post on all the properties, which would be like $500, it'd be
Oh, yeah,
$1,000
it would have been way more,
per.
not just these 5. If we
Right.
were to do all the ones that were declared,
well, but nothing stops us from the city. We have our own ordinance officer, we have our own process. We could have done a lot of this stuff independently on properties anyways, right?
I don't know, I mean, if we would have signs, I don't know why we could. I don't know, it's something we should probably discuss.
something we can consider.
Because we're literally paying
but-
somebody that could do that now, right? I mean, yeah, as an employee, that would take that cost away.
How often does this happen that we have to post this?
this. Not frequently. I would say this is out of the ordinary.
Keep in mind, this is an area that we waited on because we knew there was gonna be
Sure.
a higher than, there's gonna be an abnormal number of issues.
Mr. President, I would say in my 2+ years now, we've posted a total of 5 properties across 13 communities in 2 years.
Good.
So
You just doubled that with this.
and I realize that, knock on wood, I don't wanna
Okay.
do it, because you're in our backyard, so it's
Sure.
a lot cheaper for us to do it here. Imagine I'm going clear to Mullen or clear to Hyannis or down to McCook. I mean, we're talking about doubling that amount, 250 per property easily, because now I've got mileage figured in.
I'll leave that with City Manager Wilkins.
And you are absolutely correct. You do have a paid employee who does take care of the daily citizen complaints outside of the area that we're reviewing. We're just specialized because we can do an entire area quickly. And as Mr. Wilkins said, this was an area that was put on the burner, knowing that it was going to be some complicated properties.
Okay, so let's get started then. Under planning and zoning, we have nuisance abatement, nuisance, 2026 OGA 1 PID 0600000200 and 0600000300 1601 East First Street. 2026 OGA 4 PID 0660000700 215 East M Street. 2026 OGA 13 PID 0690000300 215 East I. 2026 OGA 17 PID 0100006000 224 East I Street. 2026 OGA 29 PID 0280000300 East Fourth Street.
Okay, again, all of the properties that were originally on your agenda are on here, so we'll skip through those as we come to them. We'll start with OGA number 1. Discarded personal property. Again, this is a cast iron stove and probably some piping that's next to it. Unsecured structure. That's all there is on that property. Next one is number 4. Discarded personal property, metal, wood, unsecured camper, inoperable campers, automobile parts, trash, rubbish, litter. I think there's probably 3 subsections of the ordinance that this one falls on. Another view of it, unstacked lumber or wood. Just as zoomed in here, there's some mattresses, what looks like to be appliances, some truck toolboxes, metal automobile grate down in the front down there. Crates, buckets, discarded engine. Inoperable unsecured structure with the camper. And then the items that are all around it with the cages. Unsecured camper. This is a different one, by the way. Discarded automobile parts. Discarded personal property. Probably could be okay with the oxygen tank there, the propane tank there, whatever that is, but all of the remaining items around it. Improperly stored chemicals, buckets, discarded personal property, personal goods. The buckets, metal. Discarded automobile parts. Unsecured camper, inoperable camper. None of this has moved since the first time we took pictures on this property. And then we move to 13. 2026 OGA 13. They have actually done quite a bit of work on this property. There's just a few remaining items behind the fence that just needs to be tidied up. Looks like a lot still, but they've made pretty good progress on this property, honestly. And I think with the additional 30 days after the motion to abate, they could probably finish this. Some discarded automobile parts, looks like part of a railroad tie there, and then obviously the pallet, the buckets collecting rainwater, which we finally got some of. Go to 17. 2026 OGA 17. Improper licensed vehicle. And go to 29. 2026 OGA 29. Unlicensed vehicle. Unlicensed vehicle, improperly licensed vehicle. And that's it. Any questions on the ones to abate?
Pretty clear.
Again, they will have the additional, once they receive the letter, 30 days plus a 5-day posting that goes into the newspaper. And we couldn't even schedule abatements on those properties until after 5 days of publication in the newspaper. We do proof of publication. They're very good at getting us that in a timely manner. And then even then we'd have to schedule contractors. So they'll probably have additional time because contractors are busy right now. So typically we would wait until the fall to do abatements when, September timeframe.
Take a stab at this. You guys check me on that.
Did you strike them out too?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, I'll follow you.
Yeah, follow me on it. Move to abate the nuisance properties located within the city of Ogallala at 1601 East First Street, 215 East M Street, 215 East I Street, 224 East I Street, and 1304 East Fourth Street.
You are correct.
Nice job.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilman Laughlin and a second by Councilman Dupierre to abate nuisance properties located in the city of Ogallala. There's no further discussion. Council, please vote.
5 yes.
Motion carried. All right, can keep that up here for a while. Planning and zoning nuisance abatement, we're gonna rescind nuisance for 2026 OGA 3 PID 066000500 East M Street. It's resolution 2350. 2026 OGA 7 PID 038000300 206 East L Street. It's resolution 2351. 2026 OGA 8 PID 038000700 205 East K Street. It's resolution 2352. And 2026 OGA 30 PID 0281006001301 East Third Street, resolution 2353.
No pictures for you here. These properties were clear of all perceived and identified nuisances as of the date of review, and therefore we are recommending recension of previous declaration of nuisance.
So these are,
Yes. Yes.
Did I type something wrong?
no, I'm all right. Just like thank the people that have cleaned up the properties.
We do send a thank you notice
Yeah.
to them once they've cleaned up, so.
And that's really, it not only helps community, it helps your neighbors, it helps community health, safety. So we appreciate those that have worked diligently to get these removed, to rescind those notices. So,
And this is a perfect example of the process. These properties were declared. You know, they had an identified nuisance on them that you declared. And they took the steps to rectify those nuisances. And now we're recommending that you remove that nuisance declaration because of the work and effort that they put in to get their property into compliance.
I would introduce resolutions 2350 through 2353.
Resolutions of rescinding declared nuisance.
And also move for the.
Yes, and move to their adoption.
All right. We have the introduction of resolution by Councilman Dupierre and second by Councilman Weddington. If there's no further discussion, could the council please vote?
Five yes.
Resolutions 2350 through 2353 are hereby adopted. Mr. Den, thank you. Under planning and zoning, a final plat of Great West Townhomes, replat number 2 of lot 1.
Steve,
Oh,
Hello, my name is Marcus Bonner. I'm here to speak about the property of 1001 East First Street.
okay.
and on which property?
Paul's Repair, Plumbing Eden. I did speak with Edwards and had a long meeting with him about what was wrong with the property. At the time, my mom was going in and out of the hospital. So I asked him to try to keep it short. At the time, he did show he gave us a letter of what was wrong. Supposedly it was a lawnmower, some tires next to the lawnmower, which we were waiting for you guys' cleanup. You know, you guys had that big citywide cleanup where you throw all your tires. We were waiting for that, but they were nicely stacked, even he admitted. Roofing shingles. So I took care of that. You know, I asked him what was wrong with the property. I needed step by step what you want to see done. And the one Volkswagen car, as you can see in his photo, it was parked out front and it did not have for sale on it because, well, we just broke the key to the car. We were unloading it, it rolled underneath the tire, we couldn't pull it forward. And also my ink pen ran out. I don't know if you guys have ever been to Walmart, but they quit selling the good ones. The other ones, they just wash off within a day. So as far as all the vehicles that are up front, up for sale, it's all up for sale. Every vehicle that he has pointed out is up for sale. Now, Nebraska's legal definition, Nebraska's law allows you to sell up to 8 vehicles per year without having a dealer's license. Does not say anything about how many you can have up for sale. I can put 50 of them up for sale. It just means I can only sell up to 8. Does that make sense?
Not really.
And then when we were talking about the plating of vehicles, I brought up ASAP. They have a lot of snowplow trucks. They have a lot of trailers out front. And none of that's up to date. None of that has, same with the 3 other companies right next to my company. They have trailers. They have the same stuff I have. ASAP has more vehicles than me. None of their plates are up to date. I brought that up to Ed. If you've got to penalize me for having all these vehicles because it's a nuisance, there's mice, there's whatever. Then there's other companies right here, right next to me that have the same problem. And as far as the having a dealer's license, like I said, in Nebraska law, you do not have to have a dealer's license to sell up to 8 per year.
How many cars do you have there?
Um,
Lot?
To tell you the truth, the vehicles that are up for sale on the front end. And then there's vehicles in back because Paul's still selling off some of his business. He has retired and we're still selling some of his company vehicles as well.
I mean, with the business or separately? or-
Separately.
I mean, it sounds like you're trying to do a car dealership.
To tell you the truth, after we get done with a few things, it'll probably become a car dealership because we're not doing plumbing anymore. We're gonna be doing porta potties, which in the first meeting I had with Ed, he told me to get rid of all the porta potties, which it's a porta potty company. So I can't do that. That's like asking AB Tool to get rid of all their equipment that's sitting out front. It's part of your company. Some of the vehicles, it's part of the company. But it is any vehicles that are part of Paul's Repair or behind a fence. There is green netting up, and I showed Ed, even in some of his photos that he showed you, the wind tore it apart. I did order more. They sent me something as big as a Post-it note as a sample. It was supposed to be the full 20 by 20 sheet, but instead I got this little Post-it note. I don't think that's going to cover much. But once we did finally get the 20 by 20s in, we started putting them up. As far as the back cap, which he showed, where there is some other things that you can see, we just haven't covered that line of the fence because we're still waiting on them to ship us stuff. Much like when I was talking to Ed in his meeting, he said that some of the concrete brick at his plaza over here has fallen apart, become disarray because of the wind. I mean, that's concrete brick. We're dealing with a fence, but and you know, he can't seem to find the good mason to fix his fence. And that's been since we had our first meeting. And to this day, the concrete wall over there at that plaza right next door is still falling apart. I'm just asking for time to work on my stuff some more. I mean, the wind, as we all know, with my mother's passing, I have just been really, really busy on taking care of anything at the shop. So I do apologize that it may look disarray, but at the same token, ASAP has just as many vehicles that are not licensed or plated. And none of theirs are up for sale. Trust me, I asked. Wouldn't mind buying a few snowplow trucks. Wilson's shop, he has trailers out front. They are not licensed and plated. As far as or lumber that is disarray or building materials, I've got Chief Sign Company right next door. That, you know, they have a thief that comes by, I have him on camera, who steals from his rack all the time. As far as our wood or our metal, or it's behind a fence. Everything material wise is behind a fence and there is net. Therefore, people cannot see it. They cannot steal it. But yes, if you sat there with a phone and angled, I'm pretty sure you could see everything in the yard. But if you're standing out at the road looking towards our property, the only thing you're going to see is our cars and vehicles that are up for sale.
How much time do you need
To do,
to get?
I was unaware of the cars being an issue in the beginning. I didn't even know anything about the cars. I'd never said anything but the Volkswagen. That is the one vehicle he brought up. Otherwise, I knew nothing of any other vehicles or of anything in our backyard besides the tires and the roofing shingles, which I have complied. The tires and roofing shingles are no longer there. As far as anything else, it's new issues, so I have to have time just to address.
Ed, any comments?
If you would. Paul's Repair and Paul's Porta Potties have been there for 30 years. It's still there. That's the equipment for those companies. This is a commercial building. It's not a residential. On your paperwork, it shows residential. All these things, I want to know what statute we're breaking, what state laws we're breaking, or whatever the reason is for this. Because I don't see it. That business has been there. I've worked there. Those are my trucks, or Paul's repair trucks, Paul's porta potty trucks. They can be broke down, they can be fixed, they can be discarded, whatever. It's the same thing with your state highway department. They have trucks behind there that aren't licensed, that aren't together. But that's their business, that's their thing. This is our business.
Well, he's pretty much talking about, the Ogallala State City Office had broke down vehicles.
Who's talking here?
Marcus, this is Paul
Hi,
Baumgart.
Marcus, you introduce yourself, no?
Oh,
My name's Paul Baumgart.
So I just wanted to know, when, if there is nuisances that need to be taken care of, I need to have them listed as like
need to know what they
1,
are.
2, 3, 4, so I can complete it, because so far I have completed what was asked of me. But now there is new. So I didn't know about new. I mean, we could keep building
Well,
and building.
I will say that it's up to the citizen to understand what's in an ordinance. So it's up to you to read and know if you're out of compliance. We just follow up with it when it becomes out of. So it's up to you to educate yourself too on what is an ordinance and what is not. So that's definitely on you.
So by Nebraska law, though, I can put. The city so far doesn't have any number on how many vehicles you can put up for sale.
I could have 100 of them back there for sale. So what?
Through the city of Ogallala. So in complying with what the city states. I can only sell by Nebraska state law, 8 per year as far as. Legally. But as far as how many you can have up for sale, there's no limit. And there's no limit on trailers. Things of that nature.
But I mean, are you just trying to circumvent the licensing requirement?
No, sir, at no point. These are up for sale. And
Cause
these will be sold.
there's been an awful lot of them there for a very long time.
Well,
Very, very long time that have not moved ever, for as long as I've been around to see them.
and I have seen ASAP's trucks sitting there for a very long time without plates. And they have been sitting there for a very,
But we're
very long
not talking
time.
about ASAP's property.
No,
No, but I'm comparing apples to apples.
Yes,
If you're gonna come after me,
yeah,
that's fine. And I'm happy that you brought up that you've
Right.
been seeing vehicles there 100%.
yes.
So let's say that I brought a McLaren up here.
Mhm.
Okay, very expensive car, 300,000. Who has money? So let's even claim these cars at the shop to be only worth $500
Correct.
per car. Who has the money? It's not my fault that the town's broke. So that's exactly what you just said. You've seen vehicles sitting there for a very, very long time.
Unmoved, I mean, tires that have been flat on
Nope.
for a long time, some of
No
those,
tires are flat.
they have been, I've been by.
Do they run?
Not talking
Yes.
about the ones out front, we're also talking about the ones in back that can be
The ones
seen.
in back are my commercial vehicles.
Okay.
And some of them have not been operational for a while. Cause I've never seen them move.
They have to, even though they're in the back of the property, they have to be licensed.
Yes,
That's the ordinance that we're talking about.
correct.
But even though they're up for sale.
The ones in the back
Yep.
are not listed for sale.
Yep, and they're not. written
Well, no,
up,
because
they're
we
not out
only
front,
have so
they're not
much
for sale.
room, like you were stating. There's only so much sales floor that I have up front. I mean, if you want to, I can always pull everything out of the back up front, but then we're gonna be out the city street. So that's where it comes in, is once one sells, we can bring one out. Until then, we can just tell people, hey, they're up for sale. And then show them by opening the gate and walking them back there, saying, hey, this one's for sale. And we've done that numerous times. But as far as pulling it all out of that back end gate up front, there's just not enough sales floor. Does that make sense?
So are you selling salvage or operational vehicles?
They're all operational.
So everyone there can turn over and move on
Yes,
its
sir.
own, or every single one,
Every single one.
including in the back.
In the back, yes.
Fine.
Yes, there's actually not one single one there that. I mean, if you want, you can always come over and we can.
Sure.
Grab a battery charger and hop in every single one and fire them all up for you.
Okay.
I mean, most of them. I'll admit, some of them haven't been moved in a long time.
Sure.
But That's the reason why I said grab a jump box. We all know that leaving a battery in there over time just kills.
Well, and I think that, you have 30 days. Then if I'm not mistaken, if you contact West Central, there has been stuff been made, progress has been made, you can show, hey, we received the fencing. Then it can come back to us as well.
Yeah.
We've had that happen a couple times too.
Well, and that's the reason why I'm asking is by Nebraska's legal definition. There's no limit on how many can be sold, so any vehicle out front couldn't be a problem then. But I do want a list because I've, already asked what needs to be done. I got told tires, shingles, and put up the fencing, which I can apply. I even got asked about my lawnmower that I use to mow the shop's yard.
Sure.
Of course, it doesn't look like it moves every single day, but I move it. I mow the yard because the yard's always mowed. But I need an itemized list then on what needs to actually get taken care of in order for this to end. Otherwise, we're just gonna keep rolling a tire, and I don't want to keep coming back well, there was this one board, or, oh, I saw a nut over there. I mean, once I'm in compliance, I'm in compliance, and I will keep it that way. But I need to know step by step, but attacking vehicles that are up for sale. They're all up for sale. I'll get a marker and try to write out for sale on every single vehicle as best as I can then.
Is there a date and time you're available and maybe West Central is available that you guys can meet and set that up to go over all that so that everything can be done, that we also know about it too?
Yeah.
Make sure that what you're asking for, we can try to provide you. Because again, even though it is your responsibility to know, I think it's reasonable that, hey, you're asking, hey, what else can I do here? I think that's something we can provide.
Well,
I think that's reasonable.
also today, I would like to be reported as I did report on ASAP, Chiefs, Wilson's.
I'll note a formal complaint has been made on those.
That way, like I said, if I have to clean up, which I agree with, whatever you guys want done, I'll do. However, everybody else needs to be following suit.
We don't have a problem with that.
Totally agree.
That's the only thing, because you get what I'm saying. If those snowplow trucks are all unlicensed, all untagged, they're not up for sale though. Trust me, I've asked. I really did. I wouldn't mind owning a few snowplow trucks myself, especially when the snow out here gets really bad.
Sure. And I'll even, if you're interested, I head by that quite often. I'll just make a courtesy visit over there just to chit chat with you too and.
Oh,
take a
yeah,
look around.
feel free.
How's that?
I was gonna say, not every single weekend, but we do have garage sales.
Sure.
And that way we could, we had this big annual one. Right, where everybody in town was having garage sales. I don't know if you guys have seen the feedback on that, but nobody made any money. I've got all those cars up for sale. I showed them off to quite a few people. I talked to people. Yeah, things are tight right now, and that's probably why you've seen those cars sitting, because normally. I do have a lady who lives down the street. She drives one of my Ford Explorers that she purchased for $500, Eddie Bowers edition, sunroof fully loaded. And I see her driving by honking her horn almost every other day because I'm out there, and she'll wave and honk. For $500, you're not gonna buy an SUV, not a running driving vehicle.
Sure.
So I've been helping the community out as much as I can. But yeah, here recently, nobody even asked $500.
Well, and hey, I want to thank you for coming in. I want to thank you for visiting with us, going over the stuff that you've seen too. And I think your willingness to work with us on it. Love to get you with West Central, and then, like I said, I set up either a time with you guys too. Come over, just take a look at it, have a conversation as well. I think that's warranted and justified. You spent your time here, I can spend my time coming down and visit with you.
Feel free.
Does that sound good to you? And then I can report back too, and we can have conversations over the next 30 days, kind of what we're seeing, and maybe try to work a little bit closer to help you get into compliance in some ways too, just by observations.
Oh,
How's
yeah.
that?
And then, I was gonna say, you want my cell phone number? Cause if I'm not around, you can just give me a call.
I mean,
It's hard because I'm still running back and forth from hospitals.
sure.
And there are at least 2 to 3 weeks, sometimes where I'm gone. I'm down in Denver, or I'm here or there, just at the hospitals.
Well, and that's what I'll say is, we'll connect, you and I, and then I may bring somebody else with me. We'll just come down and visit with you.
Okay. And then-
We're not unreasonable. That is one thing that I think we both are. I have to speak for myself. I think we're all very reasonable.
Yes.
Would love to work with you on it, make sure we see progress and, hey, if this is a moot point in 30, 60 days, whatever it takes, if there's movement on it, we can bring back that recommendation to, push it out with the help of West Central. I think it's better for the whole community that way. And then you feel, heard as well. And like I said, I appreciate you coming today,
Right.
sharing your feedback, your concerns, and, I'm glad to give my time to you as well.
Well, that's the only reason why I asked for. Like before, I asked Ed, step by step, what do you want done? He told me, I did that. And then it's still, well, wait, you're still not in compliance. Well, hold on. This, I'm in between hospital visits and then my mom passing, so. What else do we need to do?
Sure.
I mean, just bulldoze it, make it a flat lot. Might make, more money that way.
Well, like I said, I'd love to work with you on it, and I'll kind of bring some feedback to the
Okay.
council that way too, so we have eyes on the ground, work with you
Hey, one-
together, so.
One afterthought, since we've been in business for so long here, Paul's repaired. Back when we were dumping porta potty here in town, we had to do a sign up sheet, same with our septic tank truck. Right at the front gate of your sewer treatment plant, there's that big, huge dumping hole. Well, we used to have a lock on it. I don't know what's on there now.
No
And,
lock.
and I don't know how many companies are dumping right before your sewer treatment, because you guys were trying to figure out where that diesel and all that.
Okay,
other
we're
stuff
getting
was
kind of off the
I
track
know.
here on the agenda, so this is.
We're done with the Paul's repair. I just,
All right.
I figured I'd
Yeah.
figure out
Yeah.
you're getting all these weird chemicals.
Yeah,
I think that's where they might be coming from.
Like I said, if you stick around for after the meeting, I'd love to connect with you, and
Yes, sir.
we'll go from there. How's that sound?
Will do.
All right, hey, thank you very much. I
Yep.
really
I
appreciate
think,
it. Paul, you
yes.
as well.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
you have,
That's it.
Ed, you have a comment?
We're done. EDWARDDUNN for the record. Paul, you asked what statute governs nuisance? 18-1720 gives the explicit authority to municipalities to govern nuisances as identified and described within their municipal code. Empowers all cities and villages to declare what constitutes a nuisance and grants them the authority to remove or abate it within their corporate limits and zoning jurisdictions. 18-1720. That's what gives you the power. Now, your code is written by you, was not written by you, but is written by the governing body. As I said earlier, it's a living, breathing document, should be reviewed regularly. We're gonna do that, for sure. And to Mr. Baumgartner's comments, I will say 90% of that is accurate. He did address the items that we originally discovered. May have been some miscommunication on my part. I'm human. We make errors, right? About the vehicles. I did state that the vehicles will require additional time for investigation, as I had to do some more research on motor vehicle licensing laws in the state of Nebraska. Upon doing so is when I found out about the 8 vehicles, which he is 100% correct. There's nothing in there that's stating how many vehicles can be on the lot for sale. It's just stating how many vehicles can be sold by a private entity in a calendar year. 8, that's the number. So again, we need to take a look at that going forward as a municipality and how you guys wish to govern that in the future. I'll also address, sorry, I didn't see you.
So is that's 8 for?
The property owner, the property owner. So the property owner, as listed with the county assessor, is Nicole Baumgartner.
Okay.
So that's 8 for her. Nobody else can sell a vehicle on that property. They all have to be sold by the property owner, and that's explicit. And I'm sure Mr. McQuillan's gonna have plenty of research to do after this. So, thank you. I'm sorry, I apologize for the additional work. Lastly, the vehicles, or not the vehicles, the properties that he is stating that he found deficiencies on and violations on. When we review those in the initial courtesy in April, if they don't have a nuisance on them at that time, they're in compliance. They don't get reviewed again multiple times. just like any other property within the area we're reviewing. Once they're in compliance, they're in compliance. Turns around the next day, they have a nuisance, they were in compliance the date of review. That's how we operate. Per our agreement with you, we are authorized to give one administrative extension. We have done so for the two properties you declared this evening. They've already had an extension past the courtesy, which is why they were up for declaration tonight. I did advise Mr. Baumgartner, come to the meeting tonight, state your case, be heard. That's what these forums are for. This is a perfect example of why this podium's here, this lectern's here. He was heard. I did also say that if the council wishes to give you an additional extension, that would be at their discretion, not my discretion. I've given what has been authorized to me through our professional service agreement with you. We're now to the point where if he needs additional time, that additional time needs to come from you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right there with you. I think sitting down with him and going and looking at it, what we need to do at this point. The way I'm looking at it, we've already declared the nuisance and passed the resolution.
I didn't have time to write all this down. I apologize, Mr. President. The last thing on this, he was declared a nuisance this evening. Actually, at this point, you could withdraw your motion to declare and grant him additional extension at this meeting if so choose. However, you can do the same thing you said. You can meet with him, go down, do the get together, so on and so forth. The declared letter that they receive, now the courtesy letter is a courtesy, and you're exactly right, Mr. Laughlin, that is on the onus of the property owner to be in compliance and to know how to be in compliance. We guide them to that document, your municipal code. We state it clearly in bold, underline, all caps, highlighted. If you need a full copy of the nuisance ordinance, please see the city clerk. It's bold, highlighted. You can't miss it on the letter. As a part of the declared letter, they receive a photo by photo, not a list, a photo by photo what's wrong and how to correct it. So there will be, once he receives the declared letter, it will go in the mail tomorrow. Our mail's not the fastest. We all know that. It will be to him within 3 to 5 business days. That will be a photo by photo violation and correction. And that's required, and that's what we do for every property.
Yeah, I would not recommend that we rescind this. I think we need to meet down there, so.
Then if we can just add it to just the next agenda, because we just report on kind of what's going on that
Sure.
item. Then that gives us time to kind of speak about it in that meeting, so. If anybody wants to do a ride along with me, I got lunch, so.
I will.
All right.
Ed, I've got a question for you.
No more than 2 of you.
Yeah,
Unless you're gonna post a meeting.
Yes, Mr. Gardner.
I'm not, I want them. So he was talking about buying mesh for his fence.
Yes, and he did.
If he puts up mesh for the fence, does that still count as what's in the backyard is?
As long as I can't see through the mesh at any point. In his defense, that mesh was in a lot worse shape when we sent the courtesy out. It was non-existent. He's covered 85% of the fence in brand new mesh. However, there are still gaps. And I can promise you our equipment is good enough to see through those gaps. If he puts up the remainder of the mesh and covers the gaps, and I cannot physically see through it to properly document it, no. It'd be no different than if they put slats.
sounds pretty easy.
In the chain link fence, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if I can see through it at any point, we're pretty good.
Sure.
So,
And as long as it meets height restriction, then
Yeah.
they're okay too, right? As long as
Absolutely.
it meets normal
Yeah,
commercial height
yeah.
restriction.
And
then
the
they're good.
the remainder of his fence is actually porta potties. So I can't see through those no matter what I do. I'm not Superman.
Correct. Okay.
I've tried.
No,
I
I
can't-
think that'll be good. So,
We're not
yeah,
getting a
if you
drone.
guys stick around after the meeting, then I'll get your information, we can trade information and we'll see what we can do.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right,
Yeah.
now we're moving on to planning and zoning.
Mhm.
Final plat, Great West Townhomes, replat number 2 of lot 1, Great West Townhomes, replat to Ogallala, Keith County, Nebraska.
Mr. President, at the last meeting when this came before the council, legal counsel recommended that the maintenance agreement should be attached to the plat. The developer has prepared a maintenance agreement, which was submitted to our legal counsel for review. Our legal counsel has made some markup, which has been accepted by the developer. I think this meets, the addresses and meets the plat's need for a maintenance agreement. And, it has been for the planning commission and approved twice.
Okay. I've gone through the red line on the agreement and I think this meets our needs. Counselor, you're okay with this since you
Yeah.
drafted it?
I'm the one that prepared the revisions.
Yeah,
I am A-okay with other reading.
Yeah, I want to also say too, for Ryan, appreciate your patience with the whole going through everything. Taking the time to kind of go through with not only legal counsel, but through, our team here. Looking this over and making sure everything kind of works for both parties, so we really appreciate that and your time that you put into it.
and I was told you're okay with this now, Ryan?
Yes.
Okay.
Stole my line there. Thank you, Mr. Tobin.
Yes.
I know it's been a long process and probably quite frustrating at times, but thank you.
I'll echo that. How's that?
I think we all will.
I'm gonna be happy to say, I move to approve a final plat of the Great West Townhomes replat number 2, lot 1, Great West House Homes replat to Ogallala, Keith County, Nebraska.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilman Laughlin and a second by Councilman Dupierre to approve the Great West Townhome replat number 2. No further discussion. Could the council please vote?
Five yes.
Motion carried. You got it.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to city manager project updates.
Just a couple of things on the upcoming agenda. We're gonna be moving forward with with the asset sales tax for infrastructure. We'll be looking at getting that July 28th. No, that's an 8/11. I wrote the date wrong, but anyway, we'll be looking to get that on, so we can get that on the ballot for the general election. You'll be seeing a water consumption ordinance that's gonna be coming up. And then we'll continue to work on the retreat ordinance.
Good. Anything else?
You will be moving forward with interviews in a couple weeks. Special meeting has been noticed.
Ready? Thank you. Okay, report, I'm sorry. I skipped report of city attorney. I just, sorry, Mike, I didn't mean to like it like that. I reported city council members. I have nothing to report from Board of Health or the Ogallala Community Hospital and Health Foundation. Councilman Laughlin.
I am the same way. ACAD had their meeting today. There was not a quorum there. And then YMC doesn't meet until Thursday. And that
Mid-July, I did speak with Kelsey yesterday just to kind of get an update on things and see where HUD is at. HUD is funded through January of 2027, so all of the funding is there. Last time I gave an update, there was a voucher freeze that has lifted. She has been able to issue 5 more vouchers. Assuming those vouchers do get used up, it will utilize the full budget for this fiscal year. So a little bit of good news there. Kelsey has hired an assistant, expected start date sometime in September. That will help her tremendously with inspections of properties. An interesting update, you can take this how you will. Traditionally speaking, the past 10 years, Kelsey talks to a HUD official every 60 days. It is very routine. It's a great conversation. They're always helpful. She just recently sent them an email and they responded back with, "We can only assist you with technical support. You're doing a great job. Keep your head up."
Keep your head down.
That's you can take that how you will. It definitely carries some tone and a feeling of you're kind of on your own. So, some expected cuts in 2027 they continue to talk about. Don't have enough details on that right now, but we'll definitely keep you updated on that. For the Chamber of Commerce, we will be meeting actually tomorrow at noon. Overall, everything is going well there. The 4th of July fireworks display is on schedule. Things look great. Mr. Wilkins, J&M Display will be here July 1st to actually drill the holes to set the mortar stations. So they have requested a skid loader and an auger attachment to the hill on July 1st. They'll drill the holes, they'll set the mortar tubes, and then they'll come back the morning of July 4th and they'll wire everything up. My understanding is they do not need any equipment the day of July 4th, just July 1st. Maybe something we could do is prior to July 1st, get up there and start mowing and kind of leveling that out a little bit, making it look nice and have some equipment ready to go. That's it.
All right. Helmut Clockman.
I've got absolutely nothing.
Councilman Weddington.
Unfortunately, I would say the same thing. I would, that with Tiger with. Maybe them on.
Yeah, sometimes our schedules just don't work out with their schedules, so. With that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Weddington, second by Councilman Dupierre to adjourn if there's no discussion or comments. No one wants to stay, please vote.
Five, yes?
We're adjourned. Gentlemen, thank you.
I'll be right there.
Yeah.